The Senate Judiciary Committee was the setting for a political showdown. Pam Bondi, former Florida Attorney General, faced tough questions. She was nominated by President Trump for the powerful position of Attorney General. All eyes were on Bondi. Could she handle the heat? Adam Schiff, known for his sharp wit and legal mind, led the charge. He didn't mince words. Schiff grilled Bondi on a number of issues. Her responses, or lack thereof, spoke volumes. The tension in the room was palpable. Bondi's nomination was controversial from the start. Her close ties to Trump raised eyebrows. Critics questioned her ability to be impartial. Schiff aimed to expose any potential conflicts of interest. He wanted to know if Bondi could be trusted to uphold the law. The hearing was more than just a formality. It was a battle for the soul of the Justice Department. Would it be used as a political weapon, or would it remain a beacon of justice? The stakes couldn't have been higher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, as you know, the Supreme Court in Trump versus United States held the president has absolute immunity to commit crimes in certain core areas of the president's responsibility. One of those core areas is the Justice Department. So in a breathtakingly dangerous and irresponsible decision, Justice Roberts and the majority held the president can commit crimes using the Department of Justice and be immune from prosecution. Justice Sotomayor correctly said this new immunity lies about like a loaded weapon. So the fear and the concern we have is that the incoming president will use that loaded weapon, that immunity, to commit crimes through the Department of Justice. And for that reason, it is all the more important that we have an Attorney General who has the independence, the strength, the intestinal fortitude to say no to the president when it is necessary. So my first set of questions has to do whether you have the independence to say no when you must say no. And you can say this is hypothetical, but it is not hypothetical. So let me start with one very specific non-hypothetical. The president has said Jack Smith should go to jail. Will you investigate Jack Smith?
Senator, I haven't seen the file. I haven't seen the investigation. I haven't looked at anything. It would be irresponsible of me to make a commitment regarding anything without, you're a long practicing attorney, without looking at a file.
So you would need a factual predicate to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
Not a summary by you sitting here. Yes, sir.
And not a summary by the president either, right?
Absolutely.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith, is that right?
I will look at the facts and evidence in any case.
And sitting here today,
Senator, 72% of Americans
I only have
have
7
lost
minutes.
faith in the Department of Justice.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Sitting here today, yes or no?
Senator, I will look at the facts and the circumstances.
You can't answer that question. You're not a part of the department yet. There's no worry about divulging
I'm sitting
law
here as a
enforcement
nominee.
sensitive information. So just tell us,
are you aware?
Just tell us, are you aware of a factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Yes or no?
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news
are
is
you aware
horrible.
of a?
Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not.
You seem reluctant to answer a simple question. Let me ask you a different simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
No, it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one has
Based on
asked
what you
me
know.
to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has
We're
called,
also worried about Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has
You know
called
what we
for
should
this.
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
The
please
crime rate
answer
in
my questions.
California right now
You
is
are
through
aware,
the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
Your robberies
Ms.
are
Bondi,
87% higher than the national
my question
average.
is this.
That's what I
My
want to
question
be
is
focused
this.
on, Senator.
Do you have the
if I'm
power to
confirmed
say
as
no to the
Attorney
president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president. So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell us, can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election? Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it.
I'm just asking you a simple question.
Won't play
if you can speak truth
with any ongoing
to power.
investigation,
So let me ask you another.
like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
If you can't answer the question, let me ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election, yes or no?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question, if you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is, can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election, yes or no? Was there or was there not?
I can tell you what I saw when I went as an
That's
advocate to
not my
the
question.
campaign.
So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that even easy truth to us, let alone to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case. Let me finish. On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that. So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President? I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
and
for the pardons, as well as the ongoing investigation.
Will you be able to review hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am asked to look at.
Of course you won't. So will you advise the president?
Can I answer the question?
Well, my question
I would have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review hundreds of cases on the first day?
I'm not going to mislead this body, nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask another question.
You were censured by Congress, Senator, for comments just like this that are so reckless.
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the department.
Do you see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're frightened now? I can't believe this is even...
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe you're asking such a question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
It shouldn't be a difficult question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, I know that you are pleased that we are moving to the end of round one, and we appreciate your being here.
Schiff zeroed in on Bondi's past. He brought up her record in Florida. He questioned her handling of certain cases. Specifically, Schiff wanted to know about potential investigations into Trump's opponents. Names like Jack Smith and Liz Cheney hung in the air.
I can't commit to any course of action without reviewing the facts.
But Schiff wasn't buying it. He pressed her on her relationship with Trump.
Have you discussed prosecuting his enemies?
The back and forth was heated. Bondi accused Schiff of playing politics.
These are just gotcha moments.
But Schiff was relentless. He demanded straight answers.
Will you stand up to Trump or be another yes man?
Schiff then turned his attention to the 2020 election.
Do you believe the election was stolen?
Bondi squirmed in her seat. She tried to avoid giving a direct answer. Bondi's evasiveness spoke volumes. She acknowledged Biden's presidency, but she wouldn't explicitly confirm its legitimacy. Schiff pounced on her words.
Undermining democracy is dangerous.
He accused Bondi of perpetuating the big lie. The topic then shifted to the January 6th insurrection.
Would you consider blanket pardons for those involved?
I would review each case individually.
But her assurances rang hollow. Schiff wasn't the only senator who challenged Bondi. Senator Cory Booker engaged her on abortion.
What is your stance on mifepristone, the abortion pill?
Bondi, a self-proclaimed pro-life advocate, tried to reassure the committee.
My personal beliefs won't interfere with my duties.
Throughout the hearing, Bondi resorted to attacks. She deflected questions by criticizing California's crime rates. She accused Sen. Alex Padilla of bullying. She even took a jab at Schiff, referencing the Devin Nunes memo controversy. Despite the contentious hearing, Bondi's confirmation seemed inevitable. The Republican-controlled Senate was expected to rubber-stamp her nomination. Senator Dick Durbin acknowledged this reality.
It's disappointing, but it seems inevitable.
He warned of the dangers of a politicized Justice Department.
We must be cautious of turning the Justice Department into a tool for political retribution.
The hearing was a microcosm of the divisions in America. It exposed the erosion of trust in institutions, and it raised serious questions about the future of the Justice Department. Would it be an instrument of justice, or would it become a tool for political retribution? Only time would tell what Bondi's tenure as Attorney General would hold. But one thing was clear: the Justice Department and the country were in uncharted territory. The stakes were high, and the world was watching.